Today we have Donna Newman, our SCC Student Success Coach. Welcome, Donna.
Thank you, Ben.
Can you talk a little bit about your role and your background here at SCC?
I started at Spokane Falls as a student back in the mid-2000s, and after I finished the program there, I got hired on at SFCC as a business technology mentor coach, and then I moved into a position as a Title III peer services coordinator, and then I transferred over to SCC, and now I'm a student success coach here at SCC, working with students, helping them get into programs in high demand.
Talk about a little bit about accessibility and how it impacts your life and maybe why you're passionate about it.
Well, I used to be able to see by just enlarging print big enough that I could see it, but my vision has changed now in a way that I have to now use a screen reader that's either embedded in the computer or software that you add on to your computer. So I absolutely rely on that to provide me the information about what is on the screen and what I'm doing. So I am as good as my technology. So if my technology is accurate, I'm accurate, and if it's not accurate, I'm not accurate either. So everything has to work well together. And that's a challenge, so I've learned to go with the flow and not to be embarrassed about asking questions and asking for assistance, but also being pretty good about advocating for myself and letting people know that I can do the work, I just need my technology piece to work properly.
So what's like a common, challenge that you run into with inaccessible content?
Some of the issues that I run into, like is if someone sends out an email and the whole body of the email is an image and it has a lot of neat information and graphics, but screen readers don't read images, it just says image. And so therefore I have no idea what it's about. Or if someone sends a screenshot, I may say, can you give me breadcrumbs to get to a certain spot in CTC Link? And they'll send me a screenshot, assuming I can see the portion at the top with the breadcrumbs, but I can't. So it's getting information that's visible, but not audible to my ears through a screen reader. Those are the biggest issues.
If some of us wanted to change our practices and started to be more accessible in the way that we create documents or send emails, what would be some high impact practices that you would recommend?
I would recommend I would not send images unless you alt tag it, and alt tagging allows the screen reader then to stay or say what you have written into the alt tag, so it may give all the information of the flyer. So you don't have to actually I don't have to visually see it, it just tells me what the flyer says. Or you can, the other thing is the tables. If you make sure you have header rows and table rows, I think that's what they're called. If you can do that, I can access tables, I can do things in Excel, but without those, all those squares and all those cells, it's just a bunch of garbled information. You really have to be able to have those cell references to track where you're at and what column and row you're in. And I would say make sure if you're doing a document, like a Word document, use headings. Because if you have a big document, a visual person is able to tab through the table of contents and see what there is and then flip to that page. I can do that too if there's headings. I can go from heading to heading to heading, jump to that page if everything is accurate. So I can be actually I'll be faster than someone who's visual if all the things are set up properly in a table and in Word documents.
And so that's using the heading styles in Microsoft Word or in Canvas.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and making sure you do lists, and screen readers really like the bullets that are just a solid black dot. If you have another kind of cute check mark or whatever, the screen reader will say something strange like number cupola 0, and you're like, what? I don't know what it says, but it's bizarre things that it will say, and you have no idea if it's misreading some information that you should be getting or if it's just a bullet and that's how it's interpreting, So use just a solid black bullet when you're doing your lists, headings, and the heading formatting, and those are the biggies. Those are the biggies there.
Okay, so speaking of any bizarre things, Have you had any unique experiences trying to decipher information that you've received digitally?
Gosh, there's so many. How would I ever decide? It's kind of entertaining, actually. Once people understand how your screen reader works and what you need to do to be able to evaluate what's on your screen, and you see something that's wrong and you show it to them, they crack up and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just got that. So a lot of it is, yes, somebody sends you a screenshot when you specifically asked them and said, I can't read screenshots and I can't read images. If you could send it as a PDF, my screen reader will read that. And they send it, but it's still not a PDF. Or they'll send you a screenshot, but they'll enlarge it and things like that. So that's always a little challenging. The hardest part, though, is like when I'm given a task to do and it requires steps that involve, let's say I have to go to a business partner's website and do something, or go use the software platform for one of our community partners to enter some information. And if it's not accessible, then now I've been given a task to do that I can't complete. And so I have to ask someone else to assist me, or tell my supervisor that's a task, even though it's one of my tasks in my job, I can't do it. And nobody likes to do that, because I'm perfectly capable of doing it if I can hear what the task is.
What advice would you give faculty who have students with disabilities in their classroom?
I would say don't lower your expectations. People will work to the level you expect from them, but be understanding and supportive, because there are times when they're going to come across things that are beyond their ability to utilize. For example, if a student has been in class all day and their kids are now in bed and fed and they're ready to start on their homework, and now they realize a document that they need to work on is not accessible, and their class is the next morning at 9 a.m., they're out of options. And they have, the student may have planned the whole day and planned their homework time and done everything right, but they're still out of luck. So the next day when the student comes in with that homework not done, it's up to the instructor whether they want to allow them to redo the assignment or have someone help them so they can read it. But I would say be understanding, support the student, let them know that this grade does not reflect their abilities in the area, and that you believe in them and that you want them to be successful and you're there to support them.
Thanks, Donna.
Mm-hmm.